So, yeah, this video is going to be about Michael Brooks. Um, I feel a little bit silly making this video, uh, which I guess is a little bit what I want to talk about. Um, so the title of the video is Mourning and Melancholia and Michael Brooks, and I just want to talk sort of about the process of mourning and mourning Michael Brooks. So for those of y'all who don't know, Michael Brooks is dead. You might not even know who Michael Brooks is. He's a left-wing media figure. He ran a sort of current event show that I had been listening to for a long time. He died at, I think, the age of 37. So, not really anything anyone expected. I thought it was like a joke or a mistake for a little while when I first found out that he was dead. And I felt some strange feelings. Like the normal ones when you find out someone you know is dead, like, wow, that person's dead, that really sucks. And then a sort of strange backlash where I'm, internally I thought, like, no, you don't know this guy, you've never interacted with him, you're not, like, allowed to feel bad about that. And I just wanted to make this video because, first of all, I just want to say to, maybe people who are feeling the same way, that you are allowed to feel bad, and that parasocial relationships are a real type of relationship, the sort of one-sided relationships that people form with, like, media figures, where they, like, get to, like, feel like they know them or something. When those people die, I think it needs to be mourned properly, or it'll mess you up. And this is where we're getting into the mourning and melancholia part of this video. So I'd wondered for a long time how the way that we think about public figures is going to change the process of death among those public figures. I'm sort of talking about my ass here, but talking out of my ass here. But I think it used to be the case that public figures, people in the news, they would retire and then die, and it didn't feel like a very personal process for many people, because, the people who gave you your morning news, you weren't supposed to feel like you had a personal connection to them. But nowadays, it's pretty common to feel like you have a personal connection to that person. So I guess I wondered for a long time, like, what happens when that person that you feel like you have a personal connection to, when they die. And, now I don't wonder anymore. It feels pretty bad. And I think we need to be prepared as a culture for the fact that this is going to continue to happen. Like, the parasocial element of modern media is probably not going away anytime soon, which means that this sort of mourning is going to become more and more common for lots of people. And I think some way to sort of, like, respect the deaths of these people who, they didn't know you didn't know them, but it sort of felt like you did, is really important. I talked to my partner, and she said I should try to find some sort of, like, ritual or something for a little while. Again, it feels really silly, but I don't think it is. So the topic of mourning and melancholia, it's in addition to just some personal thoughts about the passing of Michael Brooks, I also wanted to talk about mourning and melancholia, which is a concept from psychoanalysis about basically about how mourning can go wrong. Melancholia is also a pretty good movie that I pretend that I've watched so that I can explain what melancholia is. Melancholia is sort of a diversion from the normal path of mourning. In mourning, we recognize that someone has died, and then we sort of have feelings about that process, that death, that loss. But a lot of the feelings that we had towards the deceased sort of go by the wayside. This is where the logic of don't speak ill of the dead comes from. I think it's actually quite good advice, but they're dead, so there's not really anything that can be had by speaking ill of them, unless there's some like horrible record that needs to be set straight. You're not going to settle any grudges with these people. And so melancholia comes in when people sort of preserve some of the feelings that they had towards those dead people, especially the negative ones. The positive feelings you had, you get to keep those, but the negative ones should change in some meaningful sense. They should become sort of like, I don't know how to put that. I'm making it sound like you should stop like having feelings about people who have died, and that's absolutely not the case. But like, for example, if you are having, an argument with someone about like, I don't know, like your partner, your domestic partner, about like they don't do the dishes often enough or something, and then they get hit by a bus, and you still are like relitigating that argument in your head. You still kind of want to score points against this person who's not there. That can lead to this process called melancholia, that disturbs the mourning process, where you sort of treat the person who has died as if they continue to be like a social being, which they're not. I mean, they're dead. You're not going to score those argument points back. If you're owned, you're owned permanently. Don't worry, they don't care. They're dead. And so melancholia can come about when we sort of don't recognize that someone has ceased to be a social person. They've ceased to be a part of society because they have, they've died. And the thing is, I think melancholia is going to become a lot more common among just people generally, this like low-level form of melancholia that I feel right now towards Michael Brooks, because he died Monday, currently it's Friday, and because I don't interact with him, have never interacted with him directly in any way, even though I know, like, cognitively that he's dead, nothing has really changed in my life, and that makes it very difficult for me as a person to, like, feel that he has ceased to be a social person. So that's obviously not the same thing as the melancholia that people feel towards their spouses or people in their personal lives who have died. But it's an analogous feeling, and it's one that I think needs to be dealt with. And the reason that I think this is going to be much more common is because with these figures like Michael Brooks, I mean, the guy's dead. I know cognitively that he's dead, but the like lizard part of my brain that still wants to, listen to Michael Brooks say things, knows that I can just open up my cellular device and I can hear him, talk about things. He's recorded for posterity, including for me. And, I don't know, I think that just does something to the mourning process. A lot of people who've lost friends and family, it used to be common for people to talk about how eventually you don't remember what someone's voice sounds like. And that's a very sad process, but I think that it's in part necessary for us to lose these sort of like minor details, because it makes the person feel like they really are gone, which is an important thing to accept in the process of mourning. And as our technology is more and more able to preserve people's mannerisms, their thoughts, their patterns of speaking, it's going to be much easier to trick your lizard brain into thinking that someone is actually there, which is, it's temporary relief that will hurt you in the long run. Okay, this video went a little bit longer than I was expecting. If you are my, great-great-grandchildren, or, my parents watching this after I've died tragically, probably in some really stupid way, then I'm sorry that you're experiencing this. So yeah, anyway, to sum up, Michael Brooks is dead, and it really sucks, and I really wish he wasn't dead. That'd be really, really cool. Sucks that he's dead. He was a really, really great guy, really honest, and apparently in his personal life quite kind leftist who put forward, left-wing values in a really straightforward and honest way. Yeah, I don't know how to end it.